Hello and welcome. I'm Patrick Curtis, Chief Monkey of Wall Street Oasis, and this is Monkey to Millions, a show where you get a front row seat as I mentor young students and professionals to try and help them break into their dream jobs. In the first cohort, you'll meet 4 students, all preparing for intense job interviews while trying to also balance a personal life and schoolwork. The goal of this show is to shine a light on the struggles of trying to break into competitive positions with a non traditional background and to give you a roadmap for your own success. My hope is that as you get to know these 4 impressive students, you are inspired to dream big. Remember, these are real people and this is their true story. Let's get to it. In this session, Victor shares an unexpected life event that now forces him to be in Salt Lake City for the foreseeable future. As a result, my advice has shifted on how he can be very deliberate about his networking there and how he should build the financial modeling skills in order to improve his prospects. We go over key tools to aid him in this journey, and we set a very specific schedule so that he can make progress every single day. Enjoy. All right, Victor, long time since we last chatted. A lot of craziness in your life since the last time we chatted. We won't get too much into the details just out of privacy, but basically you need to be in Salt Lake City now for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
And so your ability to kind of to move to California or New York for any sort of job has kind of now been struck out. Now, that doesn't mean you can't potentially do stuff remote. Doesn't mean you can't take any other job in Salt Lake City with maybe Goldman, middle office, back office. So let's talk about tell me about that, because things have been kind of crazy the last month and a half. Have you been able to? Have you been continuing that internship with Goldman?
Yes, I've been continuing that internship with Goldman. I'm also continuing that.
You didn't take time off or anything like that?
I didn't take. I tried at least put the 3 to 5 hours. You know how crazy life is. I try to put time in, even on the road, because I wanted to make sure that it is the source of income and also the part of the the journey to kind of get some kind of job after this. And I also have a job with the Goldman as a contractor. I still kept that. I work from home, from remote. I took about 2 weeks off to kind of figure things out. As you know, there are a bunch of craziness going on. It's a life event that we usually don't expect, but when it hit us, it basically challenges us to overcome. So for that, I had to kind of stay in Salt Lake City close to my kids, and which is why I wanted to, I reached out earlier and asked that, that most likely I won't be able to, at least for the foreseeable future, to entertain the ideas of moving to New York or San Francisco for investment banking jobs. Stocking.
So let's talk about the 3 to 5 hours you're putting in. Are you clearing trades? What are you doing in terms of for Goldman?
For the job wise?
Yeah, like middle office, back office.
Oh yeah. So basically, what I do usually about 6 to 7 hours. I track the rating agencies, and rating agencies basically, when they upgrade, downgrade the entity is that Goldman has some kind of business or trades stuff to do. If the downgrade goes to a certain level, it triggers certain contractual obligation. And my job is basically sending that to the coverage team, making sure that they're aware of that. This is what's going on. That's one part of the job. Other part of the job, I send this daily emails, making sure that the coverage team understands who's in charge of what entity, credit coverage, and how they change. Usually, what happens, they send when they sign a deal and they do the DB call and everything, the credit team needs to be aware of who's going to be on the team, who's the junior person, who's the senior person. And my job is basically.
Can you speak up? Sorry, can you slow down and speak up a little bit? Yeah, it's hard to hear.
Yeah. So basically, the second part of the thing that I do is to assign coverage to the credit team for the new deals that go inks basically every week or so, or to find out if there's a new umbrella, hedge fund, a PE, or any kind of entity, natural gas or whatever, they're signing some kind of different kind of deal. So I need to make sure that coverage team is full aware of that. That's another thing that I do. And there's a bunch of little,
Okay, cool. Okay. So you told me a little bit about that. Sorry, I just paused it so we got you off Bluetooth. So tell me a little bit about the timeline. What is it? So it's January 27th. What does the timeline look like for this Is the contract just ongoing for whenever?
So contract is till July, but there is a opportunity to increase for another 6 months or so, or to basically, if I do perform well, which unfortunately, as you know, past month and a half has been really tough. That I barely do the minimum to kind of keep the job, so I haven't been gone overboard. But I can there's a possibility at the end of July either extend the contract for another year or 6 to 9 months, or to
get a full-time role,
to turn to a full-time job. Yes.
So tell me if you're ready to go after that or not.
Yes, I am ready because, like you said, I'm stuck here.
If you're stuck in Salt Lake, like this is probably one of the better opportunities for you.
Yes. But I still want to kind of work with you to kind of make my resume better, all of that. And it's a 2-year, mentorship. You never know what happens in 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So two things I'll say. Number one is try your best. Now that things are getting a little more settled, try your best to give your all at this job so that you can transition it into a full-time. Because then it's going to make your resume look better. It's going to do everything for it. It's going to probably open a lot of doors for you. The second thing I'll say is knowing that you're in one location, there's a benefit there because you can really start building all of your connections. So I'm looking at your LinkedIn right now.
It's like my resume, huh? Needs a lot of work.
It needs work, but you have 247 connections.
Yeah. You told me there was a freshman that she had 1,500 or something like that.
Yeah, and so I don't want you to spend, especially now that you know you're going to be in Salt Lake City. It doesn't need to go up to 1,500, but you can do 100 invites a day. 100 invites a day. So that means when your kids are asleep, that means going onto LinkedIn.
Okay.
That means at least 30 invites out a night.
Okay.
To people in Salt Lake City that are in finance, just to chat, you already have a job, so that this is the best time to actually be networking, not when you need the job, not in 6 months if Goldman says, sorry, but no, we're not extending your contract. What happens then? Then you're in a really weak position.
Yeah.
But if you, from now until, what is it, July, you said?
July, yes.
If from now until July, you have a lot of time to do damage. If you do 100 calls, meaning if you connect with whatever 1,000 people, you will be connected in Salt Lake City like nobody else. Okay. So that's the goal, is like everyone knows who Victor is in Salt Lake City. That has anything to do with finance, corporate development, FP&A, whatever, anything around finance and business. You should get to know the local businesses. What are big local businesses there? Because there may be other opportunities that are somewhat related to finance and banking that aren't as obvious as like an investment bank or Goldman. Right.
I see. Yeah.
So don't be, it doesn't have to even be conversations directly with people who are in finance, because I don't know how many people, it could be other people just that are in any sort of business. Like, I'd love to hear more about your business in Salt Lake City, because then they'll be like, oh, my brother, my cousin knows this. You should talk with this guy. You should talk with that guy. And then you start getting the warm introduction. So it's not just about networking with only this set of 200 people in Salt Lake City. It's about networking with these 200 people in Salt Lake City, but also the other 1,000 people that are in any sort of interesting business in Salt Lake City, just to talk to them and ask them, their advice. This is what my background is. What do you think would be good? Your business looks really interesting. Just, be complimentary to them. Is there any way I could help? And then you might be actually able to get some other part-time roles that help you develop some skills. You can say, hey, I'm looking, I've been doing financial modeling for some businesses. Would it be helpful if I built you guys a financial model or an operating model for your business? And you can say, and I'll do it free.
I see.
Do it free for you. You spend 5 hours, you build the operating model for them. They're super excited. They start referring you. Then you start charging for that. So you can start becoming a freelance. But then the cool part about that is then you have another line on your resume that's talking about your financial modeling prowess, you're building operating models, this and that's going to open up other doors. But I think it's important that you don't
waste time.
Don't waste time and wait until when you need those connections.
I see. So
Okay.
every day, two things every day, start like at least 30 connections, send
At
out
least 30 like
invite.
invite, request at least 30 new invites. Say, hey, I'm local in Salt Lake City. Hey, my name is Victor. I graduated from Georgetown, blah, blah, blah. I'm local in Salt Lake City. Live out here with blah, blah, blah. And you can say, I'd love to chat about I'd love to try to find, 10 minutes to connect to talk about your XYZ or your role at XYZ company, or your, how you started XYZ business. If you're talking like business owners, you'll be surprised if you reach out to entrepreneurs or business owners, if they like you, they may offer you a job that's better. Suddenly they'd be like, we need a CFO, to run this fast growing, small business. So you don't know that until you talk to people. And that's what will open up just tons of opportunities. If you start getting the habit of not just the 30 connections. So the 30 connections will start actually trickling down to actual phone calls. So eventually you're going to be doing 30 connections a night and probably about 2 to 4 conversations a day between 5 and 20 minutes. That's a lot of work.
So, but that basically for every connection that I send a message that this is basically to kind of introduce myself, and I need it for every 30. Okay, I see.
It's not I'd love to discuss how you were able to move up or your role at XYZ company. And then you can't send a link in that initial connection request. If they accept you, then you're able to follow up with them. It's be like, thanks so much for the connection. Maybe it's easiest if you grab a time, when is best for you. I'm available at this time or this time. And if they don't get back to you, the other option is a little bit less it can come across as a little bit too forward, is if you have a Calendly link. It's CAL. You know what Calendly is?
Yes. I do.
So if you have your own Calendly with your own schedule there, where you have certain times blocked off because you can't talk because you're either with the kids or you're working with Goldman, then you can have all those other times available, like maybe early morning, or later at night.
I think at this point that would come a bit more aggressive.
It's aggressive. It's aggressive. Yeah. So I think it's better to just give them 3 or 4 options over the future week.
Yeah.
Can you talk on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday at 12 or 8 p.m., or 12 p.m. or whatever, or, 9:30 p.m. once my kids are down, whatever. Something like that, I think will be, won't come across as aggressive. And then the goal here is just to get you to become the most well-connected person in the city.
Okay. Thank you so much, Patrick.
No, you want everybody. You just go ahead.
In trying times, I really mean that. In these trying times, you're like going above and beyond and advising me. I really appreciate that.
Well, now I just want to make sure you follow through, because I can almost guarantee that the more people the more you're going to start hearing about what they call shadow job opportunities that aren't listed anywhere.
I see.
And you're not even going to ask any of these people for a job, ever. They're just going to tell you.
Patrick, may I ask one thing there about those jobs? Maybe it's what I'm going through, my confidence and all that. Mm-hmm. I don't think I have any skills. How do I go about building those skills? You gave me all those courses, and I was working diligently up until this summer. And after that, unfortunately, I haven't touched them. So how do I go about developing those skills too? I don't want to have this false confidence and go on a job not being able to kind of perform. You understand what I'm saying?
You need to start structuring every single hour of every single day.
I see.
So you need to get out your calendar. You need to get out your calendar. And I don't care when it is, but if you just do 2 hours per week on financial modeling.
That's your courses, right?
Our courses, Excel modeling, financial statement modeling, DCF modeling, just get those in there. Then you can put it on your resume. I don't know. I think we might have already put it on your resume. Okay. But my point is, then you'll be confident about it. Then you'll be actually confident about it. And if when they see it, they won't be like, oh, so you know DCF? You'll be like, oh, not really. I kind of took a course. No. You're like, yeah, I absolutely know how to do it.
I know. 2 hours a week. I'm starting 2 hours a week and start going through those courses.
I think it's more important that you start building relationships is number one. So that's why I say the 30 invites. And those 30 invites should not take you more than an hour a night.
Okay. Cool.
Because you just do a quick search filter. if it's taking you longer than an hour a night, you're going way too tailored. Your message, you have a limited amount of space. It's like you can only write a sentence anyways.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I'm Victor. I'm a recent graduate from Georgetown, and I'm based out of Salt Lake City. I saw that you work for da da da. I'd love to hear more. I'd love to just have 5 to 10 minutes of your time just to hear more about your story and how you had so much success.
I see.
Look forward to chatting. Victor.
Yeah.
Boom. Simple, clean. They accept. Now here's the thing. When they accept, you don't drop the ball ever. So right inbox, once they have the connection, you get it off of LinkedIn, you get their email, you bring it to your email. Okay. And you're using a program called Right Inbox. Have you heard of Right Inbox?
No, I have not. That I haven't.
Pay for Right Inbox. All it does, right. So RIGHT, Right Inbox. Or Boomerang, same thing. Either one.
Okay.
All it does is it allows you to send an email, and then it has a reminder on it. Okay. So what you're going to do is, as soon as you start seeing people connecting with you, all your most recent connections, you're then going to go in, I'll even do it here. I'll show you. I'll share my screen so people who are watching on YouTube can follow, because I think it's important to just show how easy this is. Share screen. Boom. Okay. Here's your profile. So, okay, you pretend I just networked with you. I'm in Salt Lake City. First off, change Washington, change your location. Okay.
I see.
Make sure people know that. Make sure people that know that you're here. You're not going anywhere.
Okay.
They're more likely to connect with you, right? And then what I would say is, like, once you're connected to them, I'd go to like my most recent connections, blah blah blah. I'd go here. I'd go contact info, and I'd be able to grab your email right there. You see that?
Yes.
So then I'm going to grab your email. I'm going to go into my email, and then I'm going to go. Let me see if I can pull up an email here, without hopefully nothing personal here. But I go into compose. You compose. Oops. And then I'd have like your email here. But okay, notice these things that are popping up. Templates. You see this? So
yes.
when I'm inviting somebody to be a mentor or come on my podcast, I'm not typing all this out every time. Boom. It's done. It's done for me. So like anything you're repeatedly sending, you should have templates that are very easy for you to quickly boom, 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 boom. And then more importantly than that are these notes. So when you're having a chat with somebody on whatever email chain, you should be taking notes. Has 3 kids, 5, 3, and 2. Okay. Loves Boston Celtics. This is what you should be doing about me. Okay. Right. Patriots fan, boo, hate Tom Brady, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Doesn't matter, but you put these notes in here. So you can do this with a spreadsheet, or you can do it with just Right Inbox, whichever way you prefer. Doesn't matter. But the point is, when you do send an email, the most important thing is right here, reminder. Okay. You tag every single email you send with the reminder. So this means 1 week. So when you initially send out an email after they connect with you, I put a 1 week reminder on it. So after you hit send, what'll happen is after 1 week, if they have not replied to you, it will pop this at the top of your email again.
I see.
And so you do not read it unless you are ready to respond. So if you know something got popped back up, don't go in and read it and then leave it, because then guess what? It's just going to fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
So make sure you mark it as unread if you're not ready to reply right then and there. Or just don't read it knowing if it's a bounce. So every 8 a.m., every single day, I get like 10 to 30 emails popped into my inbox from me reaching out to my internal team being like, what's going on? Did we resolve this? And they say, oh yeah, we resolved it. Sorry, I forgot to tell you. Okay, but now I know it's done. Hey, sales people, when we're following up with corporates to sell our training. Hey, what did you guys think of the package? Or my sales guy forgot, or something slipped through the cracks, or somebody needs an answer to something that we forgot to give. It's just a really easy way, just to boom, put a reminder on it. If they reply, it's done. It's fine. If it's resolved, you just delete it or archive it. But if not, you're not going to let it fall through the cracks.
So Patrick, if they don't, let's say, answer back in 1 week reminder, so what do? I send another email?
You send another really short email. Let's say they didn't respond. You gave them 3 times a week. Hey, any chance next week works? Question mark at the same times, Monday, and repeat the times for them. Make it really easy for them. You could even say A, B, or C. A, Monday, B, You can say choose A, B, or C, so they can respond literally going A.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would be great. And then if they respond back, yeah, I'll do that. Be like, great, what's the best number to reach you at? But the point is, you don't drop it, especially if you're communicative. You don't drop it. You don't give up after one email. You don't give up after 2 emails. So after that second email, if they still are unresponsive, then I would wait 3 to 5 weeks, up to you, what you feel comfortable with.
Okay.
And then ping them one more time and just say, hey, sorry, I don't know if this slipped through the cracks for you. Would still love to chat for 5 to 10 minutes.
3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah. So it goes connection request. They agree. You send out the intro email trying to get a time. They ignore it. 1 week later, you send out, hey, does the following week work? Same times. They ignore that again. In 5 weeks, you send another and he'd be like, hey, I still would really love to chat. Is there any chance you have 10 minutes over in the upcoming week? And then if they still don't respond, that's fine. Let it go.
I see.
Maybe 12 months later, maybe a year later. I actually like a year later following up and then giving them an update on what you're up to.
I see.
So almost like you're forcing them to be your mentor.
Yeah.
You're like, here's what I'm doing. Because, as long as you're not pinging them every month and really picking them off. But it says something. If somebody emails me and they go, here's one email. A week later, they're like, hey, I know you didn't do that. This is what salespeople do, good salespeople. And I have to delete, I have to unsubscribe. I'm like, get me off this list. Because I know it's a lot of it's automated. Here's the other thing you can do is there's recurring down here. You see my screen?
Yes, I do.
So if I go, I don't know, I haven't used this feature that much because I don't want to keep sending the same email. Okay, so I can't do the reminder when I don't have that. If I go recurring, so check this out. So you could send a recurring email, like every quarter, you could be like, how are things? I wouldn't do that because then it looks each email is too obvious, but for internal purposes, it's actually really useful. Like if I want to ping my team every quarter, be like, hey, it's time for the wrap up.
I see.
Or you're pinging vendors.
I think just a reminder would work better in this case.
Yeah, exactly. A reminder, because then you can tailor it. You can tailor it.
Better. Yeah.
So does that make sense in terms of, so the beauty of it is, let's say you go connection request. If they connected with you, I would be shocked if after the third email, after that 5-week wait, and you hit them again, I'd be shocked. I think you're going to get a 50% close rate to a call.
Okay.
I think initially it'll go like this. It'll be like connection request for a call. You'll get like 3-4% to take a call. The second one, you'll get another like 15-20% to take that call in the week after, where you're like, you'll get a big chunk there. And then a lot of people, maybe 10%, 15% more will join after 5 weeks after you follow up again. And then a year later, when you follow up again, kind of giving you a little update. Oh, I've been working with this company doing this. This is what I'm up to. I'd love to chat again. I still think, what you've done is great. In da-da-da. It looks really interesting. I'd love to learn how you work in XYZ industry. I'd love to learn more about XYZ industry. This is what I've been up to. I'm at Goldman. I just finished up at Goldman. I'm now working here, da-da-da. Whatever.
Okay. So can you talk about during the phone call, like what the question? I know that I'll take the notes. What would be the good questions to ask, if just kind of general, so I know that, of course, I'll tailor depending on industry.
So really important that you're listening super carefully to what they're saying and tailoring your questions on that. So a super good skill to learn is to be able to not just have a set of questions that sound generic, because then the person's going to get annoyed. Right. So before getting on the call with them, you do a little research. So their background, right?
I see, yeah. And the research would come from like LinkedIn, right?
LinkedIn especially, but then you look at the companies that they worked at before. So a little bit about the companies they worked at, what regions they went to before. So it becomes more of a free-flowing conversation with a friend rather than a networking call where you're, tell me about this. Did you like that? Tell me about this. I would love to. What's the culture like at XYZ firm? Blah. Come on. Do friends really talk like that to each other?
No.
No, they don't talk like that.
I mean, that was like a rhetorical question, I guess, but yeah.
But they don't. But they don't. And what you're trying to build here is real relationships. Okay. So ask questions that really interest you. You're not asking for a job. Don't seem like a lazy person. Don't ask questions like, "Oh, what's the pay and how much?" You don't want all your questions to be like that. So you don't want to seem like a kind of a lazy person trying to just get paid a lot. You want to leave a good professional impression. So it's not like your buddies, you're drinking, like that type of conversation. But it's like buddies were like, we're trying to give each other advice on careers.
Yeah. So do you think would it be like idea, hey, what is your role and responsibilities include? What do you think the 1 or 2 skills that you need to have in order to do this job well? What are the,
That's good. What are the those are good. Those are good ones, I think, but it just sounds a little bit like prepped, right, beforehand. So like, so Victor, but take those frameworks and use them. So, Victor, I noticed you said like that it was really hard for you when you started because you didn't have like the Argus training. So for like real estate, is that really important? They'll be like, oh yeah, Argus is boom, now you're going. But like, notice how I tailored it to their specific industry. So as a person in real estate, for example.
I think it's going to come through practice a little bit. Like I'm going to start picking up after a few calls.
You're going to get so good. 30 calls, you'll start getting really comfortable. And I see. But like, don't get so comfortable where you feel like you can wing it. Still do the research because the calls will go that much better. Your goal at the end of from these networking calls is to get other warm introductions. From them to someone else. And to learn about the business community in Salt Lake City so that you know what are the businesses that are growing really fast. Who are the movers and shakers that you want to align yourself with to actually get into those businesses if possible. So like, you're just exploring right now. You're just learning. You don't know anything about Salt Lake City. Act dumb. Be like, how long have you been there? A year? Me? Yeah. Well, almost. In March is going to be a year, but I've been here. I've only been here for a year. So like, you've been here for 7 years. I've noticed. I'd love to just learn more about like how you grew at this company. I'm just trying to learn about, all the different options here. I have my family here, so it's really important that I try to build a career here. So I'm just trying to, meet more people and understand where might be a good fit for me. And if I don't have the skills, figure out how to actually develop them. Deliver it like that. Be humble. Don't say I am the greatest financial model. No. But we've talked. That, and that's a question I asked. That about the confidence and all that. That's the only reason because I want to actually be able to deliver. What I'm saying. Like, but you're not trying to get a job right now. Yes, it's more of a being a skillful in order to add a value, offer a value. So I think what you're trying to do is get honest advice. You're actually trying to do a true information session. And because you don't know anything about Salt Lake City. I don't. You really don't. Honest, all you know is Goldman back off. Like, who do you know in Salt Lake City? 20 people? I haven't even met them. I haven't met any single person because there is nobody in the office. Exactly. So you have no relationships. Yes. So good luck building a career when you have no relationships. It's almost impossible. Right? So like, thank you. So, but that's why I'm saying. That is a good encouragement. I appreciate that. But you have 6 months. You can do a lot of damage if you follow the instructions and you actually put in the work. Yeah. People do this while they're at school full time, working an internship, working 100 hours a week. People do this. If you want it, you can do it. And the beauty of being in one space and knowing you only have this city is you can really swarm that city and know it really well within a year. I see. Perfect. Now makes sense. So 30, I just want to recap this so I understand that. I would tell you more. I'm just trying to tell you like what I think you'll actually do. So if I don't see your LinkedIn up at like 300-400 connections by the time we come back, like triple, I'm gonna be like, come on, man, what's going on? No, I will tell you. No. But you know what's going on. So I'm gonna try every day, just to kind of make sure I squeeze that and send that out. Yeah. So I'll start with sending the connection, then doing the email, putting the reminder. Yeah, and if you want to send me your drafts or your templates, and you should send you save your templates in right inbox. You want to tailor them obviously a little bit to each person. Of course. But if you want to send me those templates, I'm happy to review them and look through them. But perfect. Thank you so much. So get a connection. Get their contact information, send their email 1 week, and after a week, send another one. Hey, what about this time's work? 5 weeks and again. Then 5, 6.
Okay, so the same template, just
and then a year after that,
and a year later. I see. Okay, and once you get in a conversation, do the LinkedIn research and the companies they work for. Ask about their role. What is it? That they do, what their job entails, and then basically from there, what they say, use that and switch the template. Based on that conversation, and listen.
And then you have a template for thank you email, and you list specifics. Be like, I'd love to keep you up to date on my journey. Blah blah blah. So
this comes after that conversation. I finish the conversation. I send them an email.
You send them a thank you email that day. I see. And you can have a template. Say, it was really great speaking with you. Bob, it was really great speaking with you, hearing about XYZ. I'd love to stay in touch, as I, transition out of Goldman, as I work through Goldman, and then keep you up to date on my progress. Thank you for the advice on this. As soon as I do that, I'll let you know. And so if they give you advice, something to do, you do it and you follow up.
Of course.
You should join this. You should join this association.
You're wasting their time.
Oh, Bob, I joined this association like you told me. Thank you so much. It's been really valuable. Boom, just one line. Not asking anything. Then they're like, oh, okay. You want to just be on top.
So then I'll send you my template.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll send you my template, both of the templates, connection templates and the thank you template, just to make sure the grammar is good, wording and all of that. I will later on, based on the
initial email. Yeah, connection template, initial email template, 1 week later template, 5 week template, 1 year template, and then thank you template. Okay. So 6.
I see. 6 templates. Okay.
Yeah.
I will send them all one by one. I'm probably the connection and the first one is going to be the little larger one. The last 3 is just going to be probably 1 or 2 lines, right?
Yeah.
And the thank you email might be like 3 lines. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Just want to kind of make sure that I understand all this correctly. That's all.
And then once you have built those relationships, once you've started actually building a backlog of calls that you've done, information sessions. So let's say by June, you've spoken with 40 people on the phone, 50 people ideally in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
You're going to have a nice little base, nice little network there, where you're going to be updating them every 6 months or so on what's going on with you, any updates you hear about in their industry, something like that. So it's a lot of work to manage that, but you're going to be staying on top of their radars, and by the way, the information they're telling you as you're taking notes, you're going to use that for your networking. So then you're going to be like, oh, this company seems to be doing cool things. I've heard about this company 3 times. Let me find people there. And then in your connection, you'll be like, I spoke with and they said that, you guys are doing great things there in XYZ industry. I'd love to have 10 minutes to chat just to hear more about your path there. You get that? So then you start kind of being able to drop names, make connections. All of a sudden, you're going to see this web come together of who knows who, what are the best companies to work for, what are the companies you want to stay away from and run away from and never work for. You're going to get this whole framework in terms of what's going on with that whole ecosystem, and you're going to become an expert in it in 6 months.
I see. May I ask one more question?
Yes.
Given my age and the level that I'm starting, would that scare people away? Should I talk about my age or should I not?
No, don't talk about your age.
How should I go around that if they ask?
Because saying that how old are you?
34.
No, if they ask you how old you are, you mean? Why? I think that would be a very weird question to ask you.
I know, maybe they won't ask it directly, but they will know that I was in the military. I had.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they see your resume, eventually they could ask. But you're basically leading with, "I'm a recent graduate from Georgetown."
I see. Okay, makes sense. Okay.
There's no reason to say, "Hey, I'm super old and I'm an immigrant and I went through this path." That complicates things. They want to just talk. Let them talk about themselves.
I see. Perfect.
It's not relevant. The only thing you want to learn is what skills you need. What are the best companies? What's the ecosystem like in Salt Lake City? This is true information sessions. This isn't you pretending to want an information session to ask for a job. Now, in 6 months, you may need that. And so you'll be very happy you had those 30 to 40 calls. Think of it as you were putting in you're laying the groundwork for, number one, an insurance policy for your family right now.
Yeah.
By developing relationships. And number two, you're laying the groundwork for all the shadow job opportunities that nobody hears about in Salt Lake City, to hear about them first.
And then meanwhile, at least minimum 2 weeks put in there for DCF financial modeling.
2 hours per week. Yeah. 2 hours per week.
Per week. Yeah. Okay, good.
If you do that, by the summer, what is that? 2 weeks, 30. Yeah, you should be done with all the courses if you actually do that.
Okay. No, I will. No, I have to. It's not now. Right now, I am by myself.
But
Kids
you know
come
what
usually like
helps?
7.
Yeah, you know what
Yeah,
helps, Victor, is you can lose the
yeah.
day if you're by yourself. There's so many distractions with Instagram, Facebook,
No, I don't
TikTok.
have any social media. No, I
Oh,
have
great.
deleted everything. I don't have anything social media
So
wise.
so
I have
listen to
nothing.
me. So your distractions are then Netflix and YouTube and whatever.
No, no, no Netflix, no
Okay.
YouTube. No. Yeah,
Okay.
no.
So if you're serious,
Yeah.
you can do the 2 hours, but I would set a time, a day and a time where you actually do it at
So I
that
want to do
same
like
time.
a 20 minutes a day. Like I don't want to do like one at 30 minutes. It's not bad good enough, or maybe 30 minutes a day, but
Maybe
every day.
just you want to do every day at a certain
Yeah.
time though.
Yeah, like early in the morning when I get done, I have about 2 hours like break time. I mean, I usually answer the email and stuff like that, but I can easily squeeze that 30 minutes and get
What
back to
if
it. You
what if you did 30 minutes a day at 7:30 a.m. from 7:30 to 8 a.m.?
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Nobody, because I come back from gym around like 7:30,
Perfect.
and I wake up. Yeah.
Boom.
So
Sit
every day,
down,
30 minutes.
go through a
Okay.
few more lessons, do a few more exercises, and then stop. And then go do your
All
job.
right.
And you do that
May I
every
ask?
day. That becomes a habit. And then at night, from when do your kids go down? 9:30?
I tried it. The older one goes to sleep like around 10, but the
10.
younger one is just like, yeah, he's 4
Okay.
years old. There is no
10,
negotiation with him. Yeah.
10:30 to
Yeah.
11. So
Yeah.
7:30 to 8 a.m. and 10:30 to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
are Victor work time.
Okay. I see.
Okay.
I see. Makes
So that
sense.
means basically 1 hour a day is all I'm asking for.
Oh yeah, I will. That is easily doable, But may I ask one more question though? Sorry about
Yeah.
that. I'm asking too many
No,
questions. Just like I'm
that's
too
what I'm here
distracted.
for. This is good.
What should I start with? Should I start with the DCF? Do you have like any recommendation?
Excel modeling, number one.
Number one, Excel modeling.
Then
Okay.
financial statement modeling.
Financial what? Statements.
Financial
Okay.
statement modeling. Then go to
Okay.
either valuation or DCF.
Valuation or DCF. Okay.
And then you can go M&A and LBO at the end.
Okay, cool. So Excel, financial, value. Okay, cool. I got
yeah,
it.
and
All
the basics, yeah. And we'll get you the access to the PowerPoint courses out soon. I think that's important too, to be really fast there.
Yeah.
Develop the right habits in those programs. It'll pay off.
Okay, perfect. Definitely.
Because when people see you work, like it may not help you get the job per se.
Yeah.
Get in there, you're going to be super efficient and fast in these programs.
Thank you.
Like, wow.
Thank you. So, Patrick, probably at the end of the email, I'm just going to send you the recap, what I do, like what is a suggestion, and the course and everything. Just give a quick look and see if I got everything right, if I missed anything. It's just for me. As you know what I'm going through, it's just I need a kind of a second or third enforcement. If everything is good, said that, yeah, if it makes sense, and then I will kind of fill you in the next session that this is what I've been doing.
Do you think 1 hour a day is too much? Do you think you can do it?
Yeah, no. I can't do it. Maybe not every day.
Are you no? Are you organized? Do you have a calendar?
Yes, I have a calendar on the wall, and I have a calendar on my computer. It's just right now the moving in situation and everything. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, but what calendar do you follow? Where's your main life? On your phone or your?
I try to use it like a right calendar right in front of me or on my wall. That right behind my computers, I'm setting that up so that I can actually put there, and I put like a either plus sign or I put just a check mark that this is what I've done. 5 things, the 5 things that I have to do every day. One is working out, other meditation that I have to do every day, for example.
So
one of them would be the 30 minutes.
Yeah, can you add these to
your
calendar?
Yes, that's what I want to add. So those 5 things are like non-negotiable. There are other stuff I do, but these 5 things I have to do every day. If I don't do it, it's right in front of me. I cannot run away from it. And I have to put a reason why I didn't do it.
And that half hour every evening, if you start getting a lot of calls and it starts snowballing and you're doing well, you can, what you can do is you can say, hey, I did 3 calls today. I went like an hour and a half on these calls.
Yeah.
It's okay. That counts. So you don't have to do 30 that night. So it like keeps you, I mean, great if you can, if you get an iteration, it's just easier to always have those set times.
Yes.
That's great. But I think if you don't do this, if you don't set the time aside on your calendar, it's very hard to stick to because it takes 3 weeks. It's going to take 3 weeks to build that habit.
Yeah, that's the only reason, because it's in front of my eyes, my computer. There is no way I can run away from it. And I put myself the reason, for example, I didn't go to the gym. I forced myself to write why I didn't. So if it happens to more than 2-3 times, there is like, okay, it's an excuse and I'm just lying to myself. So that's the only way I can keep myself, accountable for anything. And I don't put no more than 5 things, because I know that when it's more than 5 things, you just don't do it. It becomes like, yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Perfect. Sorry, I have to leave in about 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we'll call it. I think that's a good place to end. So
I'll send you the recap email, a scene that this
you don't
is
even
what
have to.
discussed.
You don't have to. Just show me take a photo of your calendar once it's up and send it to me.
Okay, absolutely. I will.
Okay, once you actually do it, just take a photo and text it to me, and that's enough. And then from there, we will touch base in about 6 weeks or so?
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, Patrick. I really appreciate it.
Stay strong, man, and let's have a great 6 weeks of productivity. And I'm excited to see where this takes you over the next 6 months.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Patrick.
Awesome.
Very much appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.
And thanks to you, my listeners at Wall Street Oasis. If you have any suggestions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to send them my way, patrick@wallstreetoasis.com. Until next time.